Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Commando Show podcast for the weekend of January 27th, 2024. Here's hour one.
I always like to kick things off with something interesting. Now, this happened in Hugo, Oklahoma. That's where a man and woman were arrested after stealing copper from a radio station's 500-foot radio tower. Okay. So was it worth it to steal the copper? How much did they get? What do you think? $100 worth. Oh my gosh. The cost of damage to the radio station was about $500,000. Here's what happened. They cut a guy wire, which is the tension cable designed to add stability to the tower, of course. And then this caused the top sections of the tower to collapse. Yeah, all right. That copper, oh my gosh. Told the people who got arrested, I'll see you later. Get it? See you for copper. They got arrested, going to jail. Okay, that was a long way to go for a drink of water. I get that. Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're joining us for the very first time, a warm welcome to you. And if you're a regular listener, we're thrilled to have you back. You look amazing. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. You can find my award-winning show on over 425 top stations throughout the United States. You can also find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free, by joining the Commando community. Get a 30-day free trial. Just hit commando.com, and when you're there, just press that button or tap it that says Commando Community. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio. I love this, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members, serving in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. Gosh, thank you, guys and gals. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open. I'm sure you have at least a few questions that I can lend a hand to. That's 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And let me tell you this at the top. I need two things from each and every one of you. Number one, tell one person about the show. That's all. Just tell one person. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Tell one person this week. And number two, I want to know what you like, what you want to hear more about. And so head over to commando.com and hit that link that says Email Kim. All right, just for you, I check out at least 35 different websites every single day, probably more actually, to make sure that we're both up to date on all things digital. And here are the top 5 things about tech that's happening right now you need to know about. And we're going to start with AI in New Hampshire. Just gave us a frightening preview of what's coming in this election. Bad actors are trying to use AI and deepfake videos to keep you from voting or maybe trying to sway the public opinion. So last Sunday, just 3 days before the primary, voters began receiving phone calls that sounded exactly like Joe Biden. Oh my gosh. Take a listen.
What a bunch of malarkey. We know the value of voting Democratic when our votes count. It's important that you save your vote for the November election. We'll need your help in electing Democrats up and down the ticket. Voting this Tuesday only enables the Republicans in their quest to elect.
Okay, so you
get
the gist of it, all right? So, talking about saving your vote for the November election, okay, nobody saves their vote. You cannot save your vote. You either vote or you lose it. The call was phony. Biden wasn't even on the New Hampshire ballot. The call was designed to keep people from voting. Now, I'm not talking about politics here. So I know somebody's just going to jump right on and say, Kim Commando, you did that because you hate Joe Biden. Kim Commando, you did that because you hate Donald Trump. Okay, I'm just talking about politics. Don't even think of dropping me any comments, okay? This is what you need to know, is that AI is here. and it's trying to steal from you. It's trying to sway your thoughts, your political opinions. I know that the fake AI said malarkey, but I knew that it was not Joe Biden, because Joe Biden would have said, "I'm Joe Biden, and I forgot this message." Okay, even if you love Biden, you know that was funny. You know that was funny. All right, number 2, your voting machine is vulnerable. This past week in a Georgia courtroom, a real eye-opener. Alex Halderman, a computer engineer from the University of Michigan, showed how in just a blink you can hack a voting machine. He put together a mock presidential election with George Washington and Benedict Arnold. You know who they are. And using just a pen to reach inside the voter machine, a fake $10 voter card he programmed, and a $100 USB device hooked up to a printer, he was able to print unlimited ballots. Wow. And just like that, Benedict Arnold wins the presidency. Let me tell you, it only takes a bad actor with the right tools and knowledge to compromise our democracy, truly. Moving on to number 3, they're calling it the mother of all breaches. Over 26 billion personal records from companies like X, Dropbox, LinkedIn. It's the biggest leak ever, 26 billion personal records. Okay. According to the Wall Street Journal, almost 2/3 of us would go back to a website after a breach and doing the bare minimum, like changing a password. So you can go to cybernews.com and see if you were affected with the breach. Spoiler, you are, just telling you right now. So what should you do? Well, you want to put a freeze on your credit. We've got the steps over at commando.com. Also, update your passwords, all of them. I know, complete nightmare. Moving on to number 4, we're going to go back to AI because people are so freaked out that AI is going to do their job. A recent Spokio survey revealed that 2/3 of us believe that AI could do our jobs, and that AI is going to shake up all our routines, and that AI is going to replace us. But let me tell you, they're not going to replace us. So every time you see a headline that says AI is going to replace each and every one of you within the next 12 to 18 months, just know it's just not true. It's not. At Massachusetts Institute of Technology, 5 researchers decided to take this whole AI is taking over to the test with in-depth research. They found that most headlines focus on what tasks AI could automate, but completely avoid, and they don't talk about if the business can afford to implement AI because we are cheaper. The MIT researchers documented what many businesses already know. The cost of deploying AI tech makes it far more economical for your employer to keep you. So, for the majority of roles, humans are the budget-friendly option. Isn't that comforting? And I know what you're thinking. Kim, AI will never take away my job. Only an idiot would do my job. And finally, this, coming in at number 5. Wow, for years, tech was dominated by the big 4. Alphabet, which is Google's parent company, Amazon, Meta, and Apple. But now, in Wall Street, there's the magnificent 7. Okay, listen to these companies. It's Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, and Meta, but now there's Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Okay. Last year, together, they brought in a combined $5.1 trillion in stocks. They hold 28% of the market cap. That's a lot of power. So how did Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla get into being one of the magnificent 7? Well, for Microsoft, it's AI. NVIDIA, it's the computer chips that power AI. It's for Tesla, it's their electric cars programmed by AI. Yes. All right. How about we start with Scott in Wilmington, North Carolina? Hi, Scott.
Well, a couple weeks ago, you did a segment on cars and privacy and data collection. And I was curious, what year did that really start in earnest? In other words, I tend toward older model cars just for the reason I value my privacy. So I was wondering, like, at what point am I going to have to start really doing research to find vehicles that don't really do this, or can the computers be disabled?
So what bothers you the most about the data tracking that happens in your car?
Well, just, where I drive, how much I drive, how fast I'm going, how fast I'm not going. It just, in general, I'm kind of a privacy nut.
Yeah, it's so hard to have privacy today, isn't it?
Yes.
It is 100%. You know, what's interesting about your call, is, I don't know if you read in one of the newsletters, I actually put it in there because I thought it was so super interesting, is that a Dodge Ram truck from 2008, okay, is one of the hottest sellers right now. And they're still making it, the 2008 model. This is not a model that's from 2024. This is the 2008 model, the Dodge Ram truck, specifically because a lot of people don't like this tracking. And it's $34,000. And,
oh my God.
And people are like, I want this truck, even though it's from 2008. I want that truck. I don't know if you remember the OnStar commercials in the early 2000s. Remember those?
Yeah.
That was kind of the start of a lot of the tech coming into the cars, because it had the location data, driving habits, vehicle diagnostics, and stuff like that. And then when we start hitting like 2010, then it really, really ramps up. And then we get into truly connected cars as we have now that are basically just floating computers on wheels. So if there was a car that you were looking for, I'd probably look at something in the 2000s. But
right now I drive a 2005 car and my wife has a 2002 car. So I think we're relatively safe.
You're relatively safe. But, there's a website called privacyforcars.com. Again, that's privacy for cars. And that's privacy, the number 4, by the way, cars.com. And what's really neat about this website is that you can type in your year, make, and model, and then it tells you what tracking is being done with that car. Whether it's, driver assistance programs, Wi-Fi, driving patterns, multimedia usage, whatever it may be. And again, that website is privacyforcars.com. As a matter of fact, I wrote a whole piece for the Daily Mail about this, because I write for USA Today, Fox News, and New York Post, and all these other places, and the Daily Mail. But if you hang on the line, Scott, Amber's going to give you a link to the column that I wrote. It's down there where it says privacyforcars.com, Amber. And it's a column that I wrote all about how your cars are truly connected computers. And here's what the data is that's being collected. And then I talk about this Privacy for Cars website, that basically the way that they make money is that they do a factory reset on used cars, so that if you buy a used car, you don't get everybody else's data. And in doing this, they put up this kind of like I guess you say, little tool where you can, again, put in your make, model, and year of your car, and then you can see exactly what it's tracking about you. So, Scott, thank you for your call, and hang on so we can send you out that link. Let's see. Steve in Richland, Washington. Hello there, Steve. Glad to have you with us.
Well, I had a dilemma, and I bounced it off some of my techie relatives, and they couldn't help me. So I thought I would go with the best.
All right. Awesome.
So we, my wife and I retired, and we like to go to Mexico, and we have a resort we go to almost exclusively. And our issue is they have great Wi-Fi, but their routers are all outdoors because everything's made out of concrete with rebar in it. And,
sure.
And so when it's 800 degrees on the deck in the afternoon, it's not really very fun to go outside and try to pick up the Wi-Fi. So I have been asking around trying to figure out how I could maybe put something on the deck or something to boost the Wi-Fi so I can sit in the air conditioning in the afternoon. Anyway, that's kind of the dilemma.
And this is this is your first world problem right now. I'm on vacation. I'm in Mexico with my beer and my chips and my guac, and I don't want to be outside.
Well, yeah, not on the veranda when it's in the afternoon. It's hot.
Not at all. I know. I hear you. Basically what you're looking for is a really small Wi-Fi extender. Okay. And you're going to put that extender, somewhere on the patio where you can, or inside. You'll have to kind of figure out where you can get the more bang for your buck as far as the signals that are coming in, because of the rebar and because of the concrete. That makes it a challenge.
Sure.
But maybe you put on the patio or something. They might have just some outdoor antennas that you can tap into. So you have a little Wi-Fi extender, and it will actually help you find the best location. It has a light right on the front of it to show you the signal strength. And then you can just go ahead and tap into the Wi-Fi, extend the range of the whatever router, whatever access points that they have there. And it's not going to necessarily increase speed, but it will give you more bars where you don't have any right now. So there's several out there that you can buy. The one that I like is from a company called TP-Link. And if you hang on the line, we're going to send that out to you. Since we can take a look at it on Amazon, it's always on sale, it seems like, but this one's between, I don't know, $55 and $60. It's the TP-Link AC 1900. Ooh, doesn't that sound official? I'm sure it's going to work out for you. You can also get a travel router. That's what some people also tap into as well. But I think, why don't you just go ahead and try the extender first? The travel router is really good, by the way, if you're ever on a cruise. And there's only one device that's allowed in the room, that you can use a travel router, and then you can have more than one device hooked up, and you don't have to pay per device for that room when you're on a cruise, just FYI. So again, TP-Link AC 1900. Rich, hang on the line. We'll give you a direct link over at Amazon, and thanks for your call. Gosh, I remember Wi-Fi when it first came out. We were staying at some condos in Maui, and we couldn't have any Wi-Fi in the room because it was a concrete building. I actually sat on the stairs in this 8-story complex getting my email and doing work because we couldn't get Wi-Fi in the room. Thank goodness times have totally changed. Hey, Amazon just rolled out a new way for you to secure your account. I'm going to tell you about that in just a few minutes. And then later on, what if you could take a class from Einstein or Stephen Hawking? Well, that technology is actually coming to schools. Well, it's called holograms. I'm going to tell you more about that. And before we get back to all of your phone calls, I just want to talk about Taylor Swift for just a second. It doesn't matter if you love her or you hate her. She is one of the biggest celebs around. Her Eras Tour is the first one to make over $1 billion. Oh my gosh. But there's a lot of Taylor Swift scams out there, because anytime there's big money, scammers are right around the corner. So if you want to go to a Taylor Swift concert, they're sold out everywhere. And this is where the scammers come in. They're setting up fake ticket resale sites online, hoping that you're going to bite and pay up through Venmo or another digital wallet, because if you fall for it, you're left with nothing. You cannot get the tickets, and you cannot get your money back. That's right. There's also some fake Taylor Swift voice and images out there to promote some cookware online. You're being lured into paying like $10 for shipping for pots and pans, and it's just a whole bunch of garbage. So here's the deal. Keep your eyes peeled. Falling for the scams could definitely leave you with some bad blood. Also warn the kiddos too. All right. As I mentioned, we have a revamped Kim Commando Today podcast. It's me, Andrew, and Allie. And as I mentioned, you can catch it live on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And then you can watch it anytime you want on those channels. You can catch it as a podcast. Now, a few times a week, we have special guests. Now, these are people who have something interesting to talk about. We can learn something from them. So the other day, we had a woman join us on the podcast, Kim Commando Today. Her name's Deborah Cooney. Deborah is sensitive to something called electromagnetic radiation, or EMF. She says that anytime she's around Wi-Fi, a router, a phone, a tablet, a microwave oven, Bluetooth, whatever it is, it makes her really sick. It gives her palpitations, an arrhythmia, chest pain, a rash, whatever it is. It got so bad that she moved from her home in San Diego, left her husband and her cat there, and she moved right across the country to Green Bank, West Virginia. Why Green Bank? Green Bank is the National Radio Quiet Zone. What is that? All right. The zone was set up to protect the world's largest radio telescopes from electronic interference. So all electromagnetic signals are banned inside this zone. So Andrew and I sat down with Deborah. Here, take a listen.
Where are you now, and how are you surviving where you're at?
When I left San Diego, they put the smart meter on my house. Everybody in my house got very sick. I decided to leave. That's how I got healthy. And my husband stayed. He's dead. My husband is dead. The smart meters killed my husband. And my cat stayed with my husband, and the cat's dead. So I'm the only survivor.
What was the cause of death on your husband?
Heart failure. The same problem I was having when I left.
But you believe it's directly connected to the smart meter that was installed?
I don't believe anything. The scientific evidence proves that this pulse electromagnetic radiation.
So you heard about Green Bank. Okay. And you said, I'm going to move there, which is a drastic.
I was so sick in San Diego, and I noticed that if I was not in the house, I felt okay. But if I was in the house at 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, when they were doing those 1.8 million times over the limit pulses through my house, that's when I would become very ill. So I decided, I just put some clothes in the car and just said, okay, I'm driving out of here. And I just got in the car and left. I didn't know where I was going. All I knew was I couldn't stay at my house. So I thought, oh, I have a friend in West Virginia. Maybe I'll try to connect with him. And I did. And I stayed there for a while, and I started feeling really great.
I have one quick question when it comes to your lawsuits, because you said the lawsuits were connected to getting rid of the smart meters and banning the smart meters. Are there also personal damages and compensation for you and your family as part of those lawsuits?
Yes. I mean, if you're going to bother spending all this time and money to seek an injunction, you might as well seek compensatory damages.
I mean, there's fighting for a cause or fighting for money. It could be both hand in hand, or just fighting for the cause if this is something you really believe in and are against. I
mean, I work for health. I'm an advocate for justice. And I work for the public health and the public justice. And nobody pays me. That's who I am in the world. And that's what I do.
Okay. When these pulses happened, what happened to you physically?
Well, that's when the heart symptoms started.
So like chest pains, trouble breathing?
Chest pain, difficulty breathing, arrhythmia, palpitations.
Okay. So you went to the doctor.
No, I don't use doctors.
Don't you think it would help your lawsuit, though, if you went and found a medical doctor, one that you don't use, but one for research, that would say, yes, we see a connection between what's happening to you and what you're claiming with the smart meters?
Well, we have over 200 doctors like that worldwide that have gone on the record saying that. So I think that's plenty of evidence, don't you? I
would want to know what exactly is happening to my body and know if it is directly connected.
I think we already know that. There's certainly no doubt in my mind. Is there doubt in your mind about your symptoms?
I don't have these symptoms. I don't even think I'm near a smart meter.
Give us a list of symptoms that you say that you see in other people.
Well, a lot of times it's behavioral. They start acting very, very nasty, very irate, and edgy. And this is a very common symptom of people that use cell phones. So you see people talking on the cell phone, and they suddenly start shouting and demeaning the person on the other end. And it's not because they're bad people. It's because those electromagnetic fields are really hurting them and making it difficult for them to behave in a rational manner, the way that people can do when they are not subject to those harmful electromagnetic fields. So I do notice this. I notice my students have difficulty concentrating when they've been using the Xbox, and then they have their lesson right after that. They can't settle down. They become hyperactive. They can't focus. They can't concentrate. So I do observe those kind of symptoms. And, then there are the dead people. My husband and my cat are dead, obviously, but I have 8 dead friends, and they were all subjected to very serious electromagnetic radiation, and they all died from heart failure or cancer. Most of the scientists can easily trace the cause. There may be other causes too, but electromagnetic fields are definitely one of the causes of the upsurge in brain cancer. We have certain types of brain cancer, the ones that are caused by the cell phone radiation. We have a huge surge in that kind of cancer. Other kinds of brain cancer have gone down, so maybe it's evened out a little, but the kinds that are caused by cell phones have really skyrocketed.
Okay, that's super interesting, right? It was for us too. Now, for the entire interview, plus a lot of laughs as we talk about the latest tech news, make sure that you subscribe or follow to my YouTube, Facebook, Rumble channel. Follow me on X, or just search us out in your favorite pod platform. Just look for Kim Komando today. All right. Whenever something new pops up that I know can help protect your security and your privacy, you can count on me to tell you about it. And Amazon just got on board the passkey train. You see, passkeys replace your password with something that no one can hack. Well, at least not yet. Your Face ID and your fingerprint. So basically what happens is that when you're signing in, instead of getting that two-factor authentication, that digit, is you're just going to show your phone, your face, or your fingerprint, and then you're going to be good to go. Now, to set it up, the steps are kind of cumbersome, so I'm going to put these on the website, but essentially you're going to go into your accounts, log in security, and then you're going to see something that says passkey, and then you're going to hit that setup button, okay? It's not like Amazon is going to tell you about this, unfortunately, but that's why I'm here, to help you out. So again, go into your Amazon account and search for passkey and then just set that up. But if you do need the steps, we have them, how to do it on the website as well as within the app over at komando.com. Just go ahead and hit that show pics button on the homepage. All right, let's see. Johnny in Paso Robles, California. Hello there, Johnny.
Well, I am wanting to organize my pictures and keep them safe, but it seems like it's all a big mess. I mean, I used to be a Windows and Android guy, and recently, because of my daughter, I switched over to Apple products, and I've used Amazon. And so now I have like Apple Photos and Google Photos and Amazon Photos, and I'm paying for iCloud Plus and Microsoft One and Google Storage. And
it's a mess. It's a mess.
I have an 8 terabyte Seagate thing, one touch with a hub sitting here on my desk, and I don't know what to do with any of it. And so I'm wondering if you can help me.
Well, you're a hot mess, Johnny. You are.
Tell me about it.
You are. Okay, let me tell you, this is not a fun job. Okay. And we have some steps to help you consolidate everything. And that's really where it is number one, because you mentioned, like, I got them on Amazon and Apple and Google and Drives and this and this. And you probably have some old computers, too, along the way, I bet.
I've tried to consolidate things off my old computers.
Well, that's good.
So
all right.
I have a couple of thumb drives with things on them, and I'm just assuming they're probably the same pictures that are on these other things.
And we hope so, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is consolidate. Step one is you consolidate everything. Okay. And then what you want to do is you create a master folder, and that's where you're going to put them all in there. Okay. And you can categorize them by date or event. And then you can also use some of the tools now that will do photo recognition. Okay. But the whole idea is that we're going to have one folder of everything. Now, once you have that big old folder, that's when you're going to start deleting the duplicates, because you're going to have a lot of duplicates. Okay. Whether it's 3 pictures of your food or 2 pictures of a waterfall, just pick the right one. Okay. And so then there are tools to help you delete all the duplicates. And then you start looking at, okay, now I got all these photos. What am I going to do with them? And where am I going to put them? And how much it's going to cost? Okay. So that's when you start picking one place, whether it's Apple, Google, Microsoft, or Dropbox, or whatever it is. You're going to find one place up in the cloud where you can have all this. External hard drive, you mentioned it. You can make sure that you have a copy of that master folder onto it. But the whole idea is that you need to pick one. You have to have one person. You have to have one master folder, right?
Since I'm using Apple, would it make most sense to do that?
Probably, yes.
Use the Apple stuff,
yes.
Yeah.
And just keep it right there. And because then you have it accessible on your iPhone, and if you're on a MacBook or an iMac, or whatever it may be, is that it just becomes a lot easier. Because as you found out, as you start putting photos in all these different places and all these different media, it's hard to keep any type of organizational structure at hand. And then at some point, when you have it organized, that's when you can start sharing these folders out with the photos to your kids or, relatives or whatever it may be. But the whole idea is that we're going to get them all in. And I'll tell you, I've been trying to do this for probably about a year, okay, in my spare time. And so I find myself now that when I am sitting, say watching something on Netflix or what have you, is that I'm multitasking as I'm going through my 43,000 photos that I have in there. And that doesn't include them all yet, by the way, because I haven't downloaded the photos from Shutterfly and MPix and all these other ones. Is that I'm starting to do a better job of organization. Also, when you start this process, something else happens. It's kind of like when you have to clean your own car, wash your own car inside and out.
Yeah.
Is that suddenly you start taking better care of the inside of your car, right? You're like, I mean, I'm not going to put the French fries in the middle of the console anymore with the ketchup or whatever it may be. And so, you find yourself, or I have with me, is that periodically, like I was on a plane yesterday, is that I open up my photos and I'm like, okay, delete, whatever it may be. So that this way I don't have this pain in the neck factor later on. We do have a tip on our website at commando.com on kind of walking you through some of this that we just talked about. Amber, who's screening today, will be happy to send you that link. Amber, it's right there next to Johnny's question. And John, glad to have you with us today. This is always such a major project. It is. And so I don't want you to get frustrated if it's taking you longer than you imagined, because it just will. And speaking of photos, my neighbor claims that he took a photo of a flea on the moon. That's right. He took a photo of a flea on the moon. Never mind. It's just a lunatic. Oh, yeah. Good one. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that. This is really something. Would you want Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, or Madame Curie, or any of the greatest minds ever to be your teacher? Well, guess what? A new hologram tech called Proto is coming to schools and colleges and universities. It's essentially this box that uses AI to bring these geniuses back to life. And when you see it, it's really something. So with this box, you get a lifelike resemblance of the person, kind of like that whole Star Trek thing too, where you can talk to it and then it will give you answers back. And so you would be having almost kind of like an actual conversation. Okay. Sure beats that washed up science teacher I had in 7th grade. Man, that guy, he always smelled like whiskey. He sure does. Like, stinky winky over there. All right, the company's rolling out these small units. How much do you think they're going to cost? Okay, so you get the box, you get the technology, where you can have a full conversation with one of the greatest minds in science. Wouldn't that be something? Okay. How much do you think that technology costs? $1,000. Wow. I thought it was going to be like $15,000, $20,000, a really big number. Just $1,000. Isn't that something? Hey, thanks for joining me. Be sure to tell one friend about the show. And you can always find me at commando.com. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise: home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Commando Show. Here's hour 2.
You know, when I read this study, I thought to myself, you know what? I knew this already. Oh, I guess let me back up just a little bit. My grandfather, Harold, was a trotter. Do you know what a trotter is? It's harness racing, where a horse races around a track pulling a 2-wheeled cart, which the driver steers. And sometimes the cart's called a race bike or a sulky. Well, Abby, my golden retriever, yes, 90 pounds, and my mom, they would sit there and they would watch the harness racing on TV. And I have a picture of it. I'm going to post it on my Instagram, I think, where Abby's like standing on the couch and she's looking at the TV like, what the heck is that about? Well, the University of Wisconsin, they surveyed about 1,000 dog owners all around the world. And get this, dogs are most interested in watching other dogs or horses on the screen. I think with Abby, when she saw the horses going around, I think she probably thought that was a dog. So the new study says, yes, Scooby-Doo, the National Dog Show, Lassie, anything that has dogs in it is going to capture that dog's attention. So now you know. Which reminds me, what did the Master Yoda say when he saw himself on a 4K TV? What did the Master Yoda say when he saw himself on a 4K TV? You ready? HDMI. Oh, yeah, that was a great one. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's Digital Goddess, here with you. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And as I like to say, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're tuning in for the first time, oh, here's a virtual hug. We're delighted to have you joining us. And to our regulars, it's great to have you back. And you can find my award-winning show across 425 fantastic stations in the United States. If you want to listen on your own time, not a problem. Just search for Kim Komando's show in your favorite podcast player. Or you can join the Komando community. That's where you not only get to interact with a great group of wonderful people, truly wonderful people, but you also get the podcast and the webcast commercial free. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women and the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries. We salute each and every one of you. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. Love to get your questions. And I need two things from each and every one of you. Number one, the best way for me to continue to grow this show is for you to tell one person, just one person about the show. And number two is give me some feedback. Tell me what you want to know more about. Head over to komando.com and hit that button that says email Kim. All right, it's my labor of love. Every single day I go to at least 35 different websites. It's probably closer to 40 or 45, really. But I want to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the digital universe. And here are 5 things you need to know that's happening right now. And we're going to go to Massachusetts for our first story because that's where a woman there ended up losing $150,000 in an online dating scam. Now, Alice began talking to a guy online who claimed he was working on a big pipeline project in Saudi Arabia. Red flag number 1, out of the country. Despite having multiple video calls, things turned sour when he started asking for money. Guess what? Alice sent him the money, only to realize later it was a scam and wiped out her entire life savings. Wow, thinking this was just the end of it, the trouble didn't stop. After sending all that money to Saudi Arabia, she was targeted again. This time, scammers posed as CIA agents, accusing her of supporting terrorism. They sent her an email linking her previous online romance to terrorism and then threatened her with charges of financing terrorism. The email even warned her, don't tell anyone about this, saying that she could then be charged with negligent spillage. She told the fake agents to meet her at the police station. They never showed up. So now she's taken on her bank for not catching all those giant transfers. Wow. I'm rooting for her. Now, if you know anybody in your family, tell them the story. Okay. Just say, hey, listen, I want to just tell you what happened. And if you ever get a phone call like this, give me a call because I'll help you figure out if it's legit or not. Moving number 2, nice try, HP. Okay, you're not going to believe this. If you get a brand new HP printer, you can only use Hewlett-Packard ink cartridges. This started last March. Company announced a big security update, they say, to protect the customers and to protect your customer experience. Guess what? Here's the shocker. This update blocked you from using any other printer cartridge aside from HP's. You see, HP ink is expensive. It's about, it's like you say, like third-party ink is just a fraction of the cost, which is true. Now, lots of people everywhere with HP printers said this is just about the money and HP is getting sued. So HP just came out this past week with a new excuse for blocking non-HP ink cartridges. Viruses. That's right. The CEO says that their printers can be injected with viruses, and then they could inject a virus into the computer, and then, wow, it's going to take down your entire network. But the CEO admits that there haven't been any real-life hacks yet. Viruses. Malware is what we say. Moving on to number 3, let's talk about divine judgment. A pastor in Colorado, Eli Regato, stole $3.2 million in a crypto fraud scheme targeting Christians. He says, God told me to do this. Eli and his wife promoted their own cryptocurrency, INDX coin, to Christian groups around Denver. They pitched it as a divine investment, saying, "The Lord promises you riches to anyone who invests." Eli said, "The Lord brought this cryptocurrency to me. Take this to my people for a wealth transfer." He also shared that God appeared in his dream, asking him to go ahead with the whole thing. So what did Eli and his wife spend this divine cryptocurrency on? $1.3 million went to earthly pleasures like Range Rovers, designer handbags, boats. And now that Eli is facing fraud charges, he says something a little bit different. He says that he, quote, misheard God, and so did everyone else who prayed and invested. Oh, my gosh. I hope they throw away the keys to the cell on that one. Moving on to number 4, let's talk about Apple's new Vision Pro headset. Yes, let me tell you, no one needs this headset. People want them. The price, $3,500. That's correct, with just 256 gigs of memory. But you need like 1 terabyte to do that. And that takes the price to $4,000. Now, you're going to want a case, right? Well, that's another $200. Then there's AppleCare, $500. And if you wear glasses, you need your prescription built into the headset lenses. That's another $150. You're up to like $5,000 for this thing. Now, another thing I need to tell you about, there are lots of listings out there already for the Apple Vision Pro on eBay, some going for $10,000. Now, in order to get the Vision Pro, it has to be custom made for you. You get a custom headband and prescription lenses when you buy the headset. Buying one on eBay is a total risk, and it has to be custom because they want any light to go through. Finally, this coming in at number 5, looking for Mr. or Ms. 1 or Mr. or Ms. 2 or Mr. or Ms. 3 in your love life. What's going on with that? If you're heading to dating online nowadays, you're going to see new profiles with the acronym ENM. ENM. What is that? Ethical non-monogamy. Sorry, that's what it stands for. Ethical non-monogamy. Married couples are taking to the dating app saying, "Hey, we would like an additional partner. I'm married. I'm in a committed relationship, but my partner's totally cool with that." One dater told the Wall Street Journal that at this point there should just be a filter for these people. About 14,000 Bumble users revealed 16% of Americans are considering ENM, ethical non-monogamy. Wow. Which reminds me, I was doing a crossword puzzle the other day, and I said to Barry, my husband, I said, "Hey, the word is 8 letters long, starts with the letter M, and the clue is tiresome sameness." It's 8 letters long, starts with the letter M. The clue is tiresome sameness. He said, monogamy. Oh, I hit him. All right, just playing around. All right, how about we get started with our great phone calls? Christina in Denver, Colorado. Hi there.
So I had a question. I get all of your emails, and they're amazing.
Well, thank you.
But you do them so many times a week, and you do your radio station, plus you're married, plus you got kids, plus I'm sure you have just different hobbies and things like that you do. I don't know how you find time, one, to do all of that every single week with all of the tips and the tricks and
it's a lot.
The jokes.
Yeah, yes, the jokes.
It's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot.
I love them.
You know what? I really love what I do. I mean, I really do. I'm so specialized, and I have a great team. I really do. As far as here at the studios, I mean, each and every one of our team members, they pull more than their weight. They do. And I know that.
Right.
Okay. And I know this because like last night before I was going to bed, I was like, oh, and I'm one of these things like, I got to get it out of my head or else I'm like, hey, we need to do this tomorrow. We need to do this tomorrow. We need, or get this done or whatever. I try not to, I tell people you don't have to answer me over the weekend, but if I don't get it done or if I don't tell you right then,
I don't send it.
Yes, I'm going to forget. And of course, we can always schedule emails, which is what I try to do if I'm on email. But I'm finding like Google Chat is just really the easiest thing to do because you don't have to say like, Christina, hi, Christina, how are you? Just wondering, you just get into chat and say, Christina, can you take care of this for us? And I think that would be great. But it is definitely a time management because I also get in 20 miles a week. Okay, as far as running and walking, because if you don't have your health, what do you have, right?
Right.
And so I try to get out in the morning, which I did this morning. So I was late to a Zoom call at 8:30, but I thought to myself, I woke up like, you know what? I need to get my steps in. I need to get my mileage in. I need to do it. And if I'm going to be late for that client, well, I'm sorry, but that's just the way that it has to be.
No, I'm the same. I do anywhere from like 14 to 17,000 steps a day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And it has
you have to.
Yeah. Otherwise you just sit on your butt. So we don't want to do that. But then I have a wonderful gal here, Maddie, who helps me pick the content for the news, for the shows and the podcasts, and then Allie helps with the newsletters, and John and Jeremy, they're also involved, and Mark is editing, and Amber's putting it together, and it really is a team effort, because then we have Charles and Mackenzie, and then Tracy's selling, and Kip's selling, and Amber Barnett just keeps the whole thing together. You know what I mean? It's like, but
there's so many aspects that you guys do. Like in one email, right? It has things that I might like that you've already tried on Amazon for me to buy, or you have a joke, and then you have a trivia, and then you have knowledge about like, hey, don't be caught on spam. I mean, there's so many aspects in every email that it's just like, how does she do it?
Well, but that's because, as I say, every single thing is a tech thing, right? I mean, everything that we touch right now. Okay. And then when I'm done with my day, I do make a conscious effort to give dedicated time to my family. And so, and if somebody's texting at the dinner table, I'm like, you better put that down right now, because that is just not happening in my world. And then I'm also in charge of the family. I mean, the family. Because when my mother passed away, she said, you're the matriarch. I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, yes, you are. Okay. I'm like, so now I've got additional responsibilities. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't have it any other way, because like people are like saying to me, like, why are you still doing this? You can go retire. You can go live in Maui if you want, but I don't want to. I want to be.
Know that we don't want you to either.
Well, thank you.
It's great.
Well, I want to be Martha Stewart in a bikini on the cover of Vogue magazine when I'm 84 years old. Okay, I just don't want to be Martha Stewart in jail. Okay, that's it.
Right.
Okay. But
don't go.
But
there.
I want to do that. But I appreciate your call today, because it's nice to get an acknowledgement of everything that we put together. But I will tell you, it's not just me. If it was just me, we couldn't be doing all this. But it's truly being able to identify the right people for the job. And we do have openings now. So if there's anybody listening right now and you're like, hey, I want to be in Phoenix, I love Phoenix, or you don't know anything about Phoenix, is that where our hiring, we need some folks to help with the newsletters. We need people to work in the video department, audio departments, and marketing and sales. And so if you have a specific talent and you'd love to work with just a fabulous group of people, a wonderful group of people. If you're looking for a job, head over to komando.com/careers. Christina, again, thank you for your call. I'm so blessed that I found something that I love to do in my life. I wake up every single day just jazzed to come to work and make a difference in all of your lives. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. According to Wolf Security, 44% of malware attacks are using a different type of file format. It's zip and RAR. That's ZIP and RAR. So I want you to be ultra careful. On your email, you see these as downloadable files wherever you're out and about. Just know that it's probably malware. Again, that's a zip file and an RAR file. I've been hearing from a lot of folks that say, you know what, Kim, I want to try AI, but I'm not really sure how to get started. Well, I'm going to walk you through some basic prompts. Those are basically things that you're going to type into your AI search site that will make a difference in your life. And of course, later on, I've got news about a new Disney product that, well, it's pretty amazing. It really is. And before we get to all of that in your phone calls, think about everything that you do on your iPhone. You bank, your photos, your work. Now, let's just say it got stolen or you lost it, and gone are all those super important things. So Apple has made some changes. And now with your passcode, a thief can actually hijack your Apple ID and get into your bank account and then switch off Find My Phone, mess with recovery settings, and even wipe out the phone. So that's why they had to make these changes, and they're calling it Apple's Stolen Device Protection. Again, it's called Apple's Stolen Device Protection. So if your phone is stolen and it's not in a location that you frequently visit, like your home or office, the passcode won't unlock it. Super smart. So to turn this on your iPhone, head into your settings, select Face ID and passcode, and then find Stolen Device Protection and just turn that on. That's just it. Your iPhone just got a major security boost. All right, let's see. Elliot in Wellington, Florida. Hi there, Elliot.
I've been listening for quite a while, and you provide a great service to the community. I'm not an especially tech-savvy person, and I care for my mom, who is 95. She doesn't live with me. She lives in a senior independent living facility in a nearby community. And I'm actually calling more on her behalf than mine. Mm-hmm. She's been the victim of several thefts from her apartment. It's a small one-bedroom apartment in this facility.
Oh, that's awful.
Well, it is, but it provides a lot of things that are important to her, like meals and friendship and whatnot. But she's been this victim a number of times, and there really is very little security at the place. And she can barely answer her cell phone on her own. She's got lots of medical issues, and memory is a little bit challenged sometimes. So I'm trying to figure out a way where we might be able to catch the thief without having to pay for Wi-Fi, to actually pay monthly internet fees. She doesn't have internet because she's had no need for it. As I say, she doesn't use a computer. There's a Wi-Fi signal generated from the lobby of this building. I don't know whether it's just for employees, but I can connect to it in her apartment, but it's a weaker connection. I don't know whether it would sustain, a Wi-Fi connected camera system. We probably need one camera.
Well, we can. What you can do is just get a hidden camera that doesn't use Wi-Fi. Okay.
Any suggestions?
I'll send you a link to one. It's called a Mini Spy. It's Mini Spy hidden camera. Sometimes they're sold as nanny cams, but you could use this. But what it does is when motion is detected, it will record it, and then it will keep writing over it and over it and over it. So in case something is missing, you can just take the card out of the camera and put it in your laptop or your computer, and then you have all the video footage right there.
Okay. Now, that would also capture my mom anytime she crosses the field of view,
exactly.
Right? Which is fine.
Exactly.
Is it time or date stamped?
Sure. Yes, 100%.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
so I would just put in like a micro SD card or something.
You know what? You're totally on board with it. I'm going to send you out a link to one on Amazon that you can take a look at. It's like $50.
Super.
Oh,
that's great, Kim.
Maybe she might. Do you think maybe she needs like a little safe in her apartment?
She does not. And we discussed it. The only thing is, these safes, most of them, anybody could put them under their arm and walk out of the apartment with the whole safe.
That's true.
But they would certainly be more visible doing that, so it would be a bigger risk for a thief.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Have you ever thought about putting an Echo Show in her apartment?
I have thought about it, but I can tell you right now, and I was serious, she doesn't know how to hang up her cell phone. And I just have a feeling that it would create
more frustration.
It's a nothing burger to you, but to her, it's literally rocket science.
I see. All right. Well, because, all she'd have to say is drop in on Elliot. That's all. But if that's not, realistic, then, just.
Well, no, I don't know that much about Echo shows. So maybe, with my help, maybe it could be done. Is it something that would act as a monitor?
Well, it does require Wi-Fi. But this might be something that might also be interesting for you to put there, is that you get an Echo Show and Mom gets an Echo Show. All right. And so if you want to see how Mom's doing, you just say, drop in on Mom. And then her screen will go gray. And then all of a sudden you'll appear. She doesn't need to touch anything. Okay. And then you guys can have a video call. And so that
would be great.
So let's say she's wondering about, hey, Elliot, when are you going to come see me? Or, bring me my favorite cookies or whatever it is. And then she can say, all she has to say is drop in on Elliot. That's all. And then at the end of the call, you can even say, Alexa, hang up. I mean, she doesn't have to say it.
This would be a simple way for her to make video calls to me and vice versa.
Correct. Yeah. And then you can
I've tried to use the WhatsApp video calling feature with her. It's just a little too much for her to.
No. This is literally just a screen. And then you can have it show like the news, just news headlines or pictures of the family when it's not in, when you guys aren't talking to each other.
Yeah.
She can watch anything that she really wants to watch on it. I mean, there are movies and things like that. You could even put together a music playlist for her. So she could just say, Alexa, play my music. And then she's got all her favorite songs from the 40s, and 50s that she might want to listen to. So
that's nice.
So it becomes more of a tool. And in addition to that, there is a way that when motion is detected, that you could get an alert. So the cam is one thing. For me, I probably would do both. I'd just put the cam there, and then I'd try the Amazon Echo Show. You can find them cheaper refurbished on Amazon.com if you go in the refurbished side of house.
Yeah, Kim, that the bigger concern I have, other than the cost of the Echo Show, which is not a huge deal, it's the recurring monthly cost for the Wi-Fi, and that's what she's trying to avoid.
Well, it's a shame that the facility can't give you just access to their Wi-Fi. I mean, if it's coming in, they're paying one fee, whether you're on it or not. That's what I would tell them.
I can actually identify, and they've given me the password, but the signal for it in her apartment is quite weak. Now, I don't know. It may be sufficient to handle one of the Wi-Fi connected cameras.
I would try it. And then I'd probably recommend that you buy a little Wi-Fi extender from TP-Link. And so if the extender doesn't work, you can always send that back to Amazon within, 30 days.
True. Yeah.
And so you have a little TP-Link wireless extender, and then you buy a couple of Amazon Echo Shows and then try to see if that all works. And then at the same time, you can put up this hidden cam that doesn't require any Wi-Fi. Then you got mom covered. But I tell you, this Echo Show, you hear me talk about it a lot just because I think it's just a fabulous product, especially if you're a caregiver. I've been there. Okay. Caregiving is tough. It's hard. It's frustrating. It's emotionally draining, and it can be very rewarding at the same time. It's kind of crazy. But just to have that peace of mind that mom or dad are okay, it's pretty fabulous. And I wrote up a whole bunch of stuff about the Echo Show and caregivers over on the website. So, Ellie, if you need more information about that, just hit there or just give me a call back and tell mom I said hello. All right, AI. So many of you are saying to me, I just don't know where to start. I don't know how I can use it. I'm afraid of it. If you can use Google, you can use AI. And first things first, where do you go? ChatGPT, Google Bard, Perplexity, or you can use Copilot. Okay. So what can you do with AI? Well, prompts are things that you enter into AI to get certain answers and feedback. So like, let's say you have a medical report and you're not really sure how to read it, and you want to know what it says in plain English. What you can do is, number one, white out all your identifiable information. Just go ahead and, put that into your photo editing program and mask it out. And then ask ChatGPT, for example, explain what this report says in plain English to me. And then you can just have a conversation about it. You can do the same thing with data that maybe you have at work, or maybe it's your receivables. You want to know where things are going wrong. If you are creating content, website copy, advertising copy, you can say, here are the specs for my product, write a description that I can use to sell it on Amazon. Maybe you're a plumber. So you can say, I'm a plumber in Phoenix, Arizona. Please help me write about my company for my Yelp page. And can you tell me if my Yelp page is any good? So if you're stuck in a marketing rut, AI can be your idea machine. Trying to start a new podcast, be a marketing guru and help me get the word out. Maybe you want to find a date. I need to create a dating profile. Can you ask me some questions to figure out what I should be saying about myself, what I should be looking for? You want to automate the mundane. Format the data below into a spreadsheet that includes X, Y, and Z. Get more bang for your buck. Turn this list of bullet points into a script for an entertaining, informative YouTube video that appeals to women 25 to 35. Okay. You can also have it make a schedule. I have to work 8 to 5 every day, take the kids to soccer at 5:30, 5 time to run 3 times because I'm training for a 5K. Can you create a schedule that I can stick to? Okay. These are things that you can do with AI right now to better your life. Now, if you're sitting there saying, oh, I don't know where to start, that's where I want you to head to commando.com and hit that show picks button, because everything that I said was all written out for you, as well as the links that you might need. Rick in Bullhead City, Arizona, welcome.
Well, first I want to say that I am really glad that I came across you on the radio at first, and I'm getting your daily emails, and I get up in the morning and read through those when I drink my first cup of coffee,
Awesome.
And I really enjoy them.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's a lot of work putting those out every day, but we're growing like gangbusters, which is super exciting.
I can see that. Yeah, and I think that's wonderful. Ironically, I am very anti-technology, and technology does not like me. I have all kinds of issues with things like GPS won't work for me. I've worked at one company where we had to use laptops, and I went through 5 laptops in 1 year.
Ooh.
Because my laptops were doing things that nobody else's were, and it was keeping me from working. And after about the 4th laptop, I asked the tech guy, I said, why don't you, instead of doing refurbished laptops, get new ones for people? He said, you're the only one this is happening to.
That always makes you feel special, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah,
okay, thank you.
Some people just have bad technology juju, and you're one of them. So,
oh, great. So you call me. That's nice. All right. I gotcha.
No. And so maybe you can help me with the original question I had about that you had contacted me about was a book that I had been writing. I started it about 7 years ago, and doing it in a Word doc. And I was saving, I thought, everything on Google OneDrive, which is my understanding that's like your cloud storage.
Oh, I think you mean Microsoft OneDrive, because you have Google Drive and then you have Microsoft OneDrive. I know it sounds confusing, but if it was in Microsoft Word, it was probably on Microsoft OneDrive.
Really? Okay. When I go to, and I did this just a couple of weeks ago before I had emailed you, because I went there, my book was disappearing. Okay. So, half of it was, I didn't write that much. It only had about 50 pages done. And half of it was gone when I checked a few years ago. Granted, I've been lazy. I haven't gotten back to it until just recently. And now the whole thing is gone. But there's other stuff like notes that I took on the book that I was keeping on whatever drive that was that are still there. But
so you're having trouble finding your book.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so this is kind of hard for me to do on radio, but let me just point you in a direction. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So since you did it with Microsoft Word on your computer, right?
Right.
So that would be a place where I would start looking for it. Okay.
Okay. Well, that computer I started it on, I no longer have.
Okay. Well, then that's not going to help. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So if we start looking at where is it, you say it's on Google Drive, is that you can open up any file and then you can right click and then you can start looking at version history, which I will send you the steps on how to do that. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And so you may be able to find different versions of this book somewhere in there. But I would bet you dimes to donuts that you probably have this file somewhere on a computer. You know, maybe you haven't saved it on another one, but maybe somehow it got to your computer, the one that you're using now. So it's always worth just checking out, you know.
Sure.
And basically you just go to the C drive and then you start searching for .doc if it's older, or .docx if it's going to be newer. There's also a tool called Recover. And I say that not like that because I'm from New Jersey, but because that's the way that it's spelled. It's called Recover.
Right.
And then with Recover, what that does is that goes through all the files on your computer where you can type in like a certain phrase, a certain sentence in order to try to get whatever you're looking for back. It also will recover images, by the way. So if you ever delete an image, you're like, oh gosh, I really want that back. That's a good piece of software to use. So hang on the line. We're going to give you a direct link over at Google on how to look at version history for Google Docs. And let's see if we can find that book that way. And then when you do, I do expect a dedication to myself. I mean, after all, come on. I got you the book back, right, Rick? And thanks for your call. Yeah, that's going to be a nightmare. Half the book gone, more of the book gone. Whew. I hope he remembers everything. Okay, the problem with virtual reality is this. You can't run, jump, hop, or do anything like you'd be able to do in real life. You just bump into things. Well, Disney just introduced something that's going to change everything with VR. It's called the Holo Tile Floor, and Disney calls it the world's first multi-person, omnidirectional, modular, expandable treadmill floor. Okay, there's a cool video that's floating around online. So basically, here's how it works. You walk on this floor, but you never go anywhere. It's kind of like a treadmill that just sits there. You stay at the center of the floor. So if you have your VR headset on, and you're not going to be able to run into your TV, the table, or break it. It's actually pretty cool stuff. If you haven't seen this video, it's called the Holo Tile Floor, and it's from Disney. And if you just put that into YouTube, I'm sure that video is going to pop up. And speaking of YouTube, don't forget every single day, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time, we have a brand new video stream that you're going to love. It's called Kim Commando Today. And if you don't catch us live, you can always catch us afterwards. And of course, it's not just on YouTube. It's on X. It's on Rumble too. It's also on Twitch. Basically, wherever you go get your videos, just search for Kim Commando Today. You are going to love it. Thanks for being here. And don't forget to also sign up for our free newsletters at getkim.com.
Thank you for listening to The Kim Commando Show. Here's hour 3.
I always like to start with something fun and interesting. And Elon Musk went to X to agree that there will be 1 billion, with a B, 1 billion humanoid robots on Earth within 20 years. Wow, think about that. 1 billion humanoid robots in just 20 years. You see, Elon has developed a prototype robot called Tesla Optimus. It has a $20,000 price tag per bot. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you heard this, but it almost killed some guy at a Tesla factory. And we were talking about the humanoids over on our video podcast called Kim Commando Today that you can see on Facebook and X and Rumble, wherever you get your videos. And I got this really funny note that I want to share with you about humanoids and Elon Musk and coming down to Earth. It's from Bobby in Texas, who says, "Hey, Kim, love the video stream, but I have to tell you this. I heard you and Andrew talking about the humanoids, and I want to tell you this. I'm the humanoid version of Windows 95. I'm slow, past my prime, constantly crashing, and no longer supported." That's a clever line right there. Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you. It's the biggest show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And if it's your first time tuning in, a huge welcome to you. And to our returning listeners, it's always great to have familiar faces in the crowd. And you can find my award-winning show on over 425 top stations across the United States. And if you're into more of like I want to get you Kim Commando on my own time, you can find the show as a podcast. Just search for Kim Commando Show wherever you get your pods, as well as you can get the commercial-free podcast of the show by joining the Commando community. And a special hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women. We all appreciate everything that you guys and gals are doing to preserve our freedom. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is a way to join us. Every single day, you can count on me to do your tech homework. I visit at least 35, 40 different websites. And here are the top 5 things you need to know that's happening right now. And I predicted this about a year and a half ago. The internet, as we know it, will no longer be here within the next 5 years. Say goodbye to the search engine. Here's another reason why. Google cut its $89 million contract with Append. This is a data services company. A pen, what is that? The company hires like 10,000 people to make sure our search results are up to snuff, they're accurate, and they're trustworthy. They're called search quality raters. Okay, they don't choose the top results. They rate the search results. And then Google uses those ratings to serve up the best possible result to you and make improvements on its search engine and algorithms. So this is what's going on. AI is changing the whole world, folks. Changing the whole world. Because we no longer have to go to Google to get an answer, right? We go to AI to get an answer. I mean, if you do go to Google and you Google something, they're going to put the answer right on top of the page. You don't have to go to a website. Well, websites still exist, yes. Okay, they're going to be like brochures, like pages. But just like the yellow pages went away, search sites, they'll be going away. AI is moving fast. And also, the end of journalism as we know it is coming in at number 2. Artificial intelligence. What's happening is that Google is also boosting sites that rip off legitimate journalists using AI to pop out stories. It's happening to us. It's happening to the New York Post, 404 Media. Sites are littered with articles, and these articles are written by authors with names like Sylvia Quarles and Amo Winkle and Brian Neely, and they have no CV. You can't find anything about them online. You can't trace them. This is artificial intelligence. So the reason why I'm bringing this up to your attention is that misinformation is on the rise. So when you read something, and before you get all crazy about it and you start sharing it on social media, I want you to Google that author's name. See if you can find anything about that author. And then see if that article appears in a legitimate news site, not on just some fly-by-night site. Moving on to number 3, we're going to talk about Netflix. Remember that big password crackdown? Yeah, it was a big risk last year. So if you're sharing your Netflix password with anyone in another household, your kid, your mom, your dad, you're in violation of Netflix rules, and you're required to open a completely new account for any additional household member. So would this affect Netflix positively or negatively? Well, we got our answer. Netflix added more than 13 million subscribers in its last quarter. Wow. The stock shares have popped 11%. 260.8 million people pay for this service right now. Think about that. Wow. Imagine having 260 million customers. So how did Netflix decide to celebrate this? By saying goodbye to its cheapest $11.99 basic ad-free plan. So if you want ad-free Netflix now, it's going to be $15.49. If you want to watch the ads, it's $6.99 a month. Wow. Okay. Talk about making money. Moving on to number 4, Comcast Xfinity stores your sensitive data. You can kind of opt out. What's going on with there? If you're using Comcast Xfinity, you're already opted in to store personal information with them. They're going to use that data to give you tailored ads. They say they don't sell it. That doesn't matter. It could get hacked. And Xfinity was hacked itself last year. Over 30 million customers had their private sensitive information stolen, and the company didn't reveal it until 2 months after the fact. Oh my gosh. So if you do use Xfinity, go to the Privacy Center. And then there I want you to find something called Sensitive Personal Information Preferences. I know, they don't make it easy. Click on Review Settings and just say, I opt out, opt out, opt out, opt out to everything. And this coming in at number 5, electric tires. In Florida, Neil Semel was smitten. Loved this sleek black electric Mercedes EQS 450 Plus. I got to tell you, Neil, if you're listening to me in Miami, I'm not a fan. I don't think it's a sleek looking car, but I know you and your wife decided to buy it. You say that you were drawn to the idea of ditching gasoline and save the environment and save the planet. But here's how the story goes. After driving less than 5,000 miles around Boca Raton, Neil faced a surprise. What's going on? I have to replace the tires? What? That's right. New tires. $1,500. Here's the deal. You got an EV, you're going to have to change the tires a lot faster than a gas-powered car. Normally, it's about 7,000 miles. Tire manufacturer Michelin says conventional tires on electric vehicles consume the tires 20% faster than on a gas-powered car. Why? Because of the large battery. It weighs hundreds and hundreds of pounds more than regular vehicles. So that's something that you need to know if you're buying an EV. Which, speaking of tires, what vegetable do you need when your tire is flat? What vegetable do you need when your tire is flat? Asparagus. Get it? Like asparagus? Asparagus. Oh, yeah, that was good. That's when you can tell the kids. All right, let's see. Randall in Newport News, Virginia. Hello there, Randall.
So, question I had is, so I'm a little older. I haven't really kept up with new technology and stuff. We run a small business, and extra money is always welcome. And so I was scrolling through Facebook and TikTok and all these things, and you see these ads for play this game, earn extra money, or you see the 13-year-old kid that made $3,000 online doing whatever it is he's doing, and it's all. I remember trying to buy Bitcoin when it was $8 a Bitcoin, but I missed out on that because I couldn't figure out how to do it. So if any of this stuff is not a scam, and it is legit, because I just assume most of this stuff is a scam, what is out there to where I can, use my phone in my spare time when I'm normally just scrolling through doing nothing to actually make money on my phone?
How much money do you want to make?
As much as possible.
Okay. If you're talking about any of these cash apps and play games and take a survey or whatever it may be on your phone, you're probably not going to make very much, maybe $50 a month. Okay. And then they're going to give it to you in a gift card. So you're going to have to take the gift card, and you only get the gift card if it gets to a certain amount. Okay. And so, the idea of playing games and making money and it's going to have a substantial impact in your life is just not realistic. Okay, yes, I know. And just as I'm saying this, somebody's saying, yeah, Kim, but Mr. Beast has this whole thing about keep your finger on the app, and somebody did that for 2 days and 3 hours and they won $100,000. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Beast does do that type of stuff. And so if it's from him, it may be legitimate, probably is legitimate, but you have to make sure that it is from Mr. Beast.
That was the other concern, is that, with AI now, I'm noticing all this stuff being dubbed over. They'll use images of people, Mr. Beast or others, and say, yeah, this is a legit app that he endorses, and you do some research and find out that they're all scams. Everyone I've looked at was, no, this is not legit. It's not affiliated with Mr. Beast at all. Just one example.
So what kind of business do you have, Randall?
Oh, I'm a mobile locksmith. I make keys. Locksmith.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's great. Okay.
So it's not a bad business. It's just my wife, she can't drive as much as she used to, so she's also a locksmith, but due to medical conditions, she can't get out on the road anymore, so it's just me trying to find something that maybe she can do to supplement income while she's got spare time as well.
Well, there are all kinds of things she can do that are legitimate and legitimate work at home opportunities. Okay. But the worst thing you can do, and Randall, you're smart, is to go onto Google and say, make money at home, because that's when every scam's going to pop up in the world. And so, you want to look at what is it that she wants to do and what is it that she's good at. Okay. Being a locksmith, that tells me that she has incredible patience. Okay.
Yes.
And she probably has pretty good people skills. So at that point, maybe she could be a customer service rep working out of the house. Okay. And so where you would take phone calls from anybody from Amazon to the airlines or food delivery services or whatever it may be. And, how much can you make? You can make anywhere between $15 and probably $22 an hour doing something like that. Okay. If she really wanted to get really out there, she could start a TikTok channel or YouTube channel, whatever it may be, and do these short videos about, I'm a locksmith, here's what you need to know.
We have thought about that. It's finding that, and that was the other side. The production value that some of these guys have is ridiculous. I'm like, man, I don't know how to edit video.
Well, then you know what? Then don't, you got to stick with what you know, right?
Gotcha.
And you have to be very specialized. And so we have lists of money-making opportunities, legit opportunities on our site. Anything from what I just mentioned, that a customer service rep, she could be, she could do something with Amazon Turk. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Amazon Turk is a division of Amazon. And what they do is they hire people for micro payments. And I like that because it's Amazon, it's legit. Okay.
Gotcha.
And so what could she do? She could do things like type out numbers that are on a receipt or verify the numbers that are on the receipt. She could look at a picture of 4 different images and say, this is the darkest color blue. Okay. These are things that only human beings can do, at least for now, versus AI. They could say, we want you to go type these questions into ChatGPT and then tell us what the answers are. We want you to analyze and take a look at the colors of this new product to tell us if it's appealing to you. Okay. Is the font too big? So you understand where I'm going. These are tasks that do not take long, but you could make 50 cents, $1, $2, or whatever doing these little tasks.
Yeah, after an hour or two of doing that, those little ones add up.
So that's where I would want you to point you in a direction. I don't want you to sit there and go, "Oh man, this kid just made $3,000 doing affiliate marketing." Yeah.
I look sometimes like how'd this 12-year-old just make $3,000 in 48 hours? This is ridiculous. This can't be right.
Well, maybe he did or she did by putting a game mod out there or whatever it was. There are a lot of smart kids and adults online that can figure things out. But
that's what I need to do. I need to get my kids making videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on. Tell them it's time to earn their keep. Let's get it in gear, kids.
You're 13. Start paying the bills.
Okay, come on. You can do this. So Randall, we'll post a link to some legitimate work at home opportunities. You can just search the website for that. But, just be careful. There are a lot of scams out there and a lot of people that just lie to get attention because they want to sell you something else, and I don't want you to fall for that. If you ever run across anything that you're wondering if it is legit, just give me a call right back. I'm happy to help you out. All right, let's switch gears. Picture 2 cars. One, a shiny, brand new one, fresh off the lot. And the other one, it's your old ride parked in the garage. Guess which one is the thief's top pick? The old one. Yes. Why? Because it has no GPS tracking, easy pickings. There's also a big market for old car parts that can be sold for a good price. So what should you do? Start with a good steering wheel lock. It's a clear visual deterrent. No alarm system? You can add one. That noise alone is going to scare anyone off. Make sure that you get your VIN number etched on your car parts. And last but not least, use Gorilla duct tape and put an air tag if you're on Team Apple or a tile tracker if you're on Team Android right into your engine bay. This way you can track your car without anybody knowing. So I know we're talking about AI, law, stuff like that. And I will tell you that I have found it to be of benefit because not only am I the host, right? I'm also the CEO of the company, right?
Indeed. And
legal things pop up from time to time. And, and I'm incredibly cheap. And I know that lawyers are worth their money. God knows my son is going to law school, so I also know how much that costs.
Right.
Okay. But when you're looking at costs of like one of our company attorneys, I remember first time I met with him, I said, "How much do you charge an hour? I mean, how much do you charge?" And he looked at me and he said, $999.
You're kidding me.
And I went, "What?" I said, "Is there like a discount plan?
Can I get the friends and family?"
I mean, oh my gosh. So maybe it's not $1,000 an hour. Maybe you're paying $700 an hour, $500 an hour. I mean, I don't think you can really get a decent lawyer for under $200 an hour, $250 an hour. And so when you start, and then of course, you have to pay when you are talking to them about this is what is going on.
Oh, sure. Send an email and you're going to get charged, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And so, Barry and I, when we work on things together, Barry likes, "Well, here's what I'm like, nope. Okay. I'm doing it. Okay. Because I can tell the story in like 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah. If it takes Barry, 7 minutes, that's how much money did you just burn? 15
minutes. And so what I've done is like, for example, on our advertising contracts, sponsors like to make little changes. And it used to be that I would sit there. This is what I would do. I sit there like this one with this one, and I'd like go line by line.
Print it out, look line by line. Yeah.
Now I just say, this is our original version. This is the client's version. Oh. Tell me what's the difference.
Spot the difference, AI. Yeah, yes. And AI is so much better than that, than our human eyes that have to read every word and understand all the words.
Exactly. But since we're talking about legal stuff, we do have to say, full disclosure, okay, I'm not a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. We are not giving together legal advice, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
So we are just telling you how you can use AI in your legal matters.
Yes.
But if you have any questions, you need to go see your lawyer.
Absolutely. Yeah. And something funny is that even all of these law websites, legal websites have been around since, I don't know, the
Forever.
90s.
Yeah.
You know the names, LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer, all those. They are now introducing AI. And of course, in the terms and conditions for these, they say, this is not a lawyer. This is not a replacement for legal advice.
Exactly.
So yes, everybody's covering themselves because, ultimately, we've seen the stories, right? The lawyers who get huge fines and really publicly embarrassed because they used ChatGPT or something else.
Yes.
Remember when all those stories happened? And then I feel like we don't hear many of them anymore because I bet everybody got spooked about being the next idiot on the news.
Exactly. All right, so where do we start?
Oh boy, okay. We can start with some of the big companies because they are rolling out things. I think this is a little safer than just going to, Googling AI lawyer. Please don't, because you're going to probably end up on some chatbot that you should not be using. But Rocket Lawyer, for example, they have one called Rocket Copilot. This is really good if you're starting a business because a lot of people, they haven't thought about, maybe they know what they're going to do, maybe they know what they want to call their business, but what about the legal side of it? Maybe that name's taken, maybe you need a different business name. So this is actually a pretty cool tool. It walks you through, it asks you questions and walks you through choosing your legal business name, how to incorporate it, and then how to protect it with, trademarks or whatever else you need.
Which is a good start. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. LegalZoom has one called Doc Assist, which is kind of like what you're talking about, Kim. This is really cool. It's free. They summarize documents. Basically, it helps you see what matters in here. What do I need to know? Point out anything that is important in this document. The caveat for all this and everything that we'll talk about today is you better believe that when you upload a document to one of these sites,
that's the problem.
They are using it to train their AI.
Yes.
So know that. And if it is something where maybe you want to redact names so that they're not there, okay, that can help. Maybe you want to redact certain details about your business, someone that you're working with, whatever it is. But I would be very careful about just uploading something wholesale.
Yeah, and I don't believe it. So like on ChatGPT, I spend $20 a month for this.
Yeah.
So it does give me the option to say, at this particular prompt session, I don't want you to use this to train the AI.
Like incognito mode almost.
Yeah, but I don't believe them.
Well,
it's like, I'm going to upload this and go, oh, yeah, well, thank you, OpenAI. Okay, right?
And I mean, same as incognito mode, right? That huge lawsuit. Yeah, the things that tech companies want to tell us are private and the ways in which they're private, probably not as private as they'd like us to believe.
Maybe private, to like a certain extent.
Sure.
But it's not a 100% private. There's some privacy box that they checked. Okay. So maybe that box is, we're not going to use the file name.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to let a human read this. I don't know, whatever it might be. But yeah, have that in your mind with all of this stuff, that anything you say to AI, consider that something that you just told someone or something else, another entity. I think your summarizing one is a really good place to start, Kim. If you get a contract and there's a huge paragraph about indemnification and you say, I don't even know what that means or what that is. Okay, pull it out, put it into your favorite AI tool of choice and say, explain this to me. Like I'm 12.
Yes, in plain English. Yes.
Yeah, in plain English, like I'm 12 in 8th grade. And not because you're stupid, not because you're dumb, because all this speak is pretty complicated on purpose, right? And so we want it to be how normal people would talk so you can understand what you're signing and what it means. It's really good. AI can be really good as a starting place. I am certainly not going to say, yeah, go on the internet and start your business and get all your ducks in a row and you never have to talk to a lawyer. No. But if maybe you make pottery and you think, you know what, I want to make an LLC because I'm going to start selling this. I have no idea where to start. For this one, I went to Perplexity AI and I typed in, I want to start an LLC. I don't know how to do the legal side. I live in Arizona. Can you help? It spit out a whole to-do list for me, sent me to the Arizona Corporation Commission website.
Nice.
Everything you need to do.
That is so fabulous.
Again, it doesn't replace a lawyer. And there are certainly things with your business where, yeah, you're going to have to shell out that $500, $700.
But you can save money this way, Al.
Yes.
Because you can fill out all the forms.
Exactly.
And then say, just review these.
Instead of having a lawyer say, here are the forms you need to review, and that will be $1,000 for this 15-minute phone call we just had.
Which brings up another point. Up until recently, a family member, because I'm in charge of the family. Okay. I mean, it's just, I don't know what happened. My mother passed away, and now I'm in charge of the family. So I get like a phone call from a phone call from a phone call about somebody in the family.
Kim, help.
Who is over 70.
Yeah.
And worth quite a bit of money, and for some reason does not have a will.
Oh, boy.
Okay. And so I had to explain to him the importance of a will and what probate means. Okay. And how his 5 children are not going to be getting everything just because he doesn't want to deal with it.
No.
So if that just sounds even an inkling familiar to anybody who's listening or watching right now, maybe this is a good place to start too.
Absolutely. Yeah. For personal stuff too. One more on the business side that I like, and I guess you could use this in your personal life too. Sometimes something is not quite escalated enough that you need a lawyer, but you want to sound like you know what you're talking about, right? So you can use chat for that. Say I'm a freelancer and I've done a bunch of assignments for someone and they refuse to pay me. I've done the work. I can show I've done the work. Well, why not go to chat and say, you're an employment attorney. I need your help writing a letter about this.
That's good.
So it can be a way to add more authority. And it's not making stuff up, but it will be able to say things in a way that you just might not know how to say. Yes. You can explain it in plain English and then use AI to, polish it up for you.
So using AI for legal stuff, it's perfectly fine. But again, as we're closing up this segment, that you should always still see a lawyer.
Absolutely.
It's not a replacement.
Yes. No, it's not. And if you want to know why, go ask those lawyers again who got big fines and really, really embarrassed because they used AI.
Or because chat makes mistakes.
Absolutely it does. It makes things up.
So you could be looking at it and go, whoa, this contract looks good to me. And then you give, and then what I always like to say when I sign a contract is, I hope I never have to look at this again. Okay. But then if you do have to look at it again, because things happen, and it's like, oh, what was that? I didn't know what that meant. So as always, we're going to write this up in one of our free newsletters that you can sign up over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com, getkim.com. I am going to leave us with a legal joke. You ready?
Oh, boy. Yep.
Okay. A lawyer goes to heaven. St. Peter meets him at the pearly gates. The lawyer's impressed, but asks, are you sure it's my time? I'm really not that old. St. Peter says, what do you mean? You're 86 years old. The lawyer says, I am not. I'm 51 years old. How come you think I'm 86? St. Peter says, well, we added up all the hours that you billed your clients. Just saying. All right. Yes. Thanks for being here, Al.
Thanks.
All right. Tammy in Winston-Salem. Glad to have you with us, Tammy.
My daughter's been in a fix. She went to college for 4 years and had the loan paid off from that college. And now she went back to get her behavioral children. She's been working with autistic children for going on 11 years.
Wow.
And she's just covered up with she got mixed up with FAFSA and Sallie Mae, which is 9 and 10% interest.
Oh.
She's just trying to figure out how to get the interest rates are so high now she can't find anything. So I was wondering if you knew of anywhere that she could look to get either lower interest rates or anybody that's helping autistic children. Or
is she still a teacher?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
She's actually was a teacher, and now she's went in administrative to help other physical therapists and people helping with that.
You want to look at North Carolina because sometimes they have these.
Actually, she lives in Florida.
Okay, well then she's going to look in. Okay, she's going to look in Florida then. Because some states have specific programs that if anybody who works with special needs kids, that they will help either forgive the loan or see if there's a way that they can lower it. And these are state-specific programs. They also have something called the direct subsidized, unsubsidized loans, and it's called a teacher loan forgiveness program. And she might qualify for that. That's I think that's $17,000 some dollars like that. If she works for a nonprofit or government agency, she can get what's called a PSLF. That's a public service loan forgiveness. They might be able to also refinance that loan that she has right now. It's always worth definitely asking them. Sometimes, too, if you reach out to them, they will do what's called income-driven repayment plans. So that this way it doesn't become a burden for her to make these payments, and God bless her that she is making these payments because, it's important. Yeah. So she works with autistic kids, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, she must be incredibly patient.
She is, and she's incredibly patient with the people that's hired as well.
Yeah.
So she does that and helps them too. So it kind of gets hard. Well, this day and time.
You know what? I'm just going to throw this out there. Is my sister is her name is Dr. Davidson. And she has a school in Southern California for autistic kids. And it's one teacher for one student. That's all. One teacher for one student. And I don't know if your daughter's looking to make some extra money, but she has remote teachers.
Oh, okay.
And that may be, if she's looking to supplement her income, maybe at night, because Christine she has a physical school, but she has kids that are located all around the world too. But the whole idea is that the kids get one-on-one education, and whether it's there in person or remote, or maybe it's just a hybrid deal. But in case she wants to check it out, it's over at, she's at davidsonlearningcenter.com, and that's davidsonlearningcenter.com. She's just amazing woman. She is. But again, we're looking at, just to recap, the state-specific programs, the teacher loan forgiveness. Also, that public service loan forgiveness is good. But I would definitely call out to Fannie Mae and just say, listen, this interest rate is killing me. What can we do to give me a scholarship? You could lower the interest rate, whatever. I need to get some relief here because I've got bills to pay too. And again, Tammy, thank you for your call today. Okay, look around you. You just have a ton of smart devices. Your TV, your doorbell cam, your fitness tracker, even your fridge is connected. And guess what? They're all collecting data about you. So how many of these devices have connections back to China? Have you ever wondered where these devices are sending your data, what country that they're in? Now, some smart device makers have the backing of the Chinese government. Now, let me remind you of this. It is a law for companies in China to share data with the communist government, and that includes your data here in the United States. So what can you do about it? I know it's really hard, is that you want to opt for gadgets with solid privacy features like encryption, and then you should also be able to adjust the privacy settings. Now, you can check to see where your tech is manufactured by brand and by category by going to this special address, productfrom.com. There are over 120,000 products listed there. Once again, that site is productfrom.com, productfrom.com. And don't forget about our newsletter. Sign up now at getkim.com.
Thanks for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting. And on TikTok this past week, oh my gosh, there was a video that was just blowing up. And they say it's a brand new way to tell if you're really old or not. Okay, it's not by how you look. It's that maybe you know what this is. Take a listen. You know what that is? Anybody? Oh, yeah. That was like, the sound of freedom, the sound of technology, the sound of the future. It was the dial-up internet sound. Right? So they say this noise is familiar to anyone who was born before 1998. And that noise is known as handshaking, by the way. To make your internet work, the ISP would answer the call, connect to your modem, and then the sounds would come by, and it would last, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or just about there. That made me start thinking about other things that the kids might not know about. What about pagers? Yeah. Let's see, Walkman, VHS tapes, floppy disks, CDs. Yes, they may not even know what those are. And think about this. Cassettes, tapes, you remember those. They had side A and side B. So their only logical successor would be the CD. Oh, yeah. On that happy note, I'm Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the best show. It's the biggest show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And let me tell you something. You're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And you can find my award-winning show in over 425 top stations throughout the United States. And you can find us streaming as a podcast, as a webcast, 24/7 over on the website. That's commando.com. Just hit that button that says Commando Community. And yes, it is commercial free. Now, if you're listening on the radio, we totally love that. But just a reminder, again, you can get this as a podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Commando Show. And I know you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. So our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And just a quick reminder, if you're just too shy to come on a big-time show and pod, I get that. You can always drop me your questions over on the website. That's commando.com and hit that link that says Email Kim. All right, every single day I check out at least 35 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on all things digital. And here are 5 things you need to know about tech that's happening right now. We're going to start with something that has happened to you and has happened to me. You're just having this convo with a friend of yours about something, maybe taking a trip to Paris or buying a brand new electric bike. Then you hop on Facebook and bam, what do you see? Ads for hotels in Paris and maybe some shops around you that sell electric bikes. And so you're sitting there saying, is Facebook listening? They must be. Well, here's the deal. Consumer Reports, they did extensive research and they found the answer is no, they're not. They're doing something else that will shock you even more. Turns out Facebook is not listening because they're getting all of our personal likes, dislikes, searches, doctor's visits, our pets, our purchases, our kids, our political affiliation, our working hours, our locations, from about 48,000 companies. Yes, I said 48,000 companies. Wow. Data brokers like LiveRamp, along with the other big retailers, even small shops are in it. So myth busted. Facebook does not need to listen because they're getting the data from those 48,000 companies. Wow, isn't that something? All right, moving on to number 2. Anyone who's ever had their car stolen wonders, was it sold for parts? Where the heck did you go? So we're going to have to go to Toronto, Canada for this story. That's where car owner Andrew had his SUV stolen right from his driveway. But good news, because Andrew was smart, he hid an AirTag inside his SUV. So he tracked where the vehicle went through his Apple Find My app. Now, this is really interesting. First, the SUV was taken to a nearby rail yard. After that, it went to the port of Montreal. And after that, the AirTag just went offline. But Andrew wasn't out of luck. 50 days later, his SUV's AirTag went online again. And where was it? Nearly 7,000 miles away. Yeah, in a used car lot in the United Arab Emirates. So here's what everybody needs to do right now. I want you, if you're on Apple, buy an AirTag. Now, if you're on Team Android, you can get a tile tracker. So you're going to pop it in your vehicle's engine bay using some Gorilla duct tape. That's waterproof, really strong duct tape. So this way you always know where your car is located. Moving on to number 3, it should come as a surprise to nobody. I mean, nobody's big on EVs right now because of multiple reasons. In the freezing weather, they're just not going to start, and they just take too long to charge up. And charging stations are few and far between, and people are getting stranded. So GM, Ford, and Volkswagen have vastly scaled back the production. But what if you still want a gas or diesel car, but you still want to maybe get into the electric niche? That's where you want to look at a hybrid. Hybrids never need charging. The gas engine does all that for you while you're driving and providing with 60 to 70 miles per gallon. Mercedes, Toyota, Kia, and others, they say that this is the future. Moving on to number 4, just a few years ago, wrist-worn fitness devices were all the rage. And this year, what turns out is that professional athletes are dumping their trackers. That's right. They say it's just too much data. They're not having fun anymore. So from the pros to average people, they say that these fitness devices have become addictive. So instead of enjoying the moment, they realize that they are addicted to the data. The walk, the run, the swim, no longer fun. It's a chore to compare the progress, the lack of it, and then pick up the next day to outdo the day before. So if you're no longer enjoying your daily exercise, it's time to dump the tracker. You know what? I did. And finally, this coming in from number 5, you get a call from tech support from your bank. They say, uh-oh, we've spotted some fraud on your account. and I am here to help you. CNBC reported about Marjorie Bloom. She's a 77-year-old widower who got a call from someone claiming to be a fraud investigator at her PNC Bank. And then the guy on the phone says criminals are on the brink of draining your savings account using stolen data that they found about you online. And to keep your money safe, Marjorie, you need to act fast. Move the money out of that bank, but you have to keep it hush-hush. Not a word to anyone, not even to your children. So over the next month, Marjorie, wire transfers her entire life savings to a new bank, $661,000. As you guessed it, it was all a sham. Scams like this can snag anyone. So if you ever get a call of this sort, something like this, I want you to hit up your official bank's number to double check and then tell someone immediately about it, someone who you trust. Say, this is the call I got. I'm not sure if this is legit. Can you help me figure it out? All right, let's see. Amber in Oklahoma, you're up next. Glad to have you with us, Amber.
Thank you so much. I have never called into a radio show before, but I just thought I have a definitely difficult situation right now, and I've heard you help so many people, so I thought maybe you could help.
Okay, well, I'm here, and this is my role in life, Amber. It is. I try to lend a hand wherever I can. It's very fulfilling for me. So if I can certainly, point you in a direction, I'm happy to do so. So tell me what's going on.
So I have recently had to get guardianship of my mother because of dementia. And she's actually doing better. We almost were to the point of nursing home placement, but then she started to improve. And so her doctor had said, no, she doesn't have to change her living arrangement. So she's still living on her own, but just with more intervention from me and my other siblings. But I'm the one that got guardianship of her.
So, all right. So you're in charge.
Yes.
Okay.
And while we were helping her clean her house, kind of get things together when we thought she was going to the nursing home, we found credit card bills, which we didn't know that she had. She sold her home a couple of years ago, well, maybe 2018, maybe 2019, something like that. And at that point, I knew that she paid off her credit card bills with the money that she sold her home with. So these are credit cards that have built back up over these last few years.
Yes.
There are two of them, and they total about $40,000. And she does not have the money or any assets at this point to pay those off. She's already spent the money from selling her home. So I'm just wondering, I know that with her having dementia, if I call the credit card company, I know that they'll, hopefully try to work with me a little bit, but with $40,000, I didn't know, are we already to the point that I need to be talking to a bankruptcy attorney on her behalf or a credit counseling agency? But then I know that not all of those are reputable, so I didn't know really where to start there.
Well, from a past caregiver to you, I will tell you, this is hard, okay? It's emotionally draining. And for some reason, she selected you to be the one in charge, and like my mom selected me to be in charge, right?
I'm the only girl, and that's, that's just a little easier, I think, for them to depend on the daughter.
And it's, yes, and a lot of times it is, 100%. You bring up a good point about dementia credit cards. That happened with my grandmother. And we were able to reverse the charges by providing the diagnosis and by writing a letter. And whenever I write a letter to a company, I don't write a letter to the customer service manager. I'm telling you that right now. Okay. What I do is I'll go to whatever company it is, and I will find whoever's in charge, the CEO or the president. And then when you go to that web page where it says like about the company, and then they'll probably have like this happy picture of the CEO with all these great words about how customers are their number one priority and it's their goal and their paradigm or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Just a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo that doesn't mean anything. But inside there, you're going to find a line that's where they talk about how they take their business seriously and customers are their number one asset and all this other stuff. And then I write a letter using that word in the first sentence. Is on your website, you say this, but this is how you failed. Okay. And that seems to work most of the time. Okay. So I would definitely appeal to that. I would freeze her credit if you haven't done that already. So that this way nobody else she can't take any credit cards or, at least limit the debt. Bankruptcy, she probably at this point in her life, she's not going to need credit at any other point, right?
No.
So, I mean, is there a real downside to that? No, but other than that, it's going to take a lot of time, effort, energy, and money, because it will. Okay. There is something called the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, NFCC. Okay. I would definitely want you to reach out to them. It's a nonprofit, so it's none of these agencies that you'll see online. You know what I mean? Where they're gonna charge you a fee to get rid of whatever debt that you've accumulated. But they can connect you to a credit counselor that can give you different options. And because they're nonprofit, I mean, their aim is to provide education, take care of you, take care of other things. Bankruptcy, it can discharge unsecured debts like the credit card debt, but it is a complex legal process. So that's why, if it were me, I would write letters to the credit agents or the credit cards about the $40,000, about how, that this is, she is ill. I have power of attorney, and I'm her primary caregiver, and it's my goal to reduce this debt. And then I would reach out to that NFCC. But I wouldn't do bankruptcy just because I think, again, it's a legal process, it's complex, and it's going to cost you money.
Okay.
Does that help you out?
It does. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. If you were running across anything else as you go through all this, Amber, anything from how to take care of your mom with technology, or you want to, run something by me, I'm going to give you my personal email address, and I'm always here for you, really, 100%. And remember, always take care of yourself. Okay. Promise me that. Just 10 minutes a day, Amber, 10 minutes for you only, just you, whether it's just you sitting down and meditating, listening to Bible in a year, whatever it may be. Just take that 10 minutes a day just for you. All right, let's talk about you and how you're paying your bills. Okay, one of the best things that you can set up is auto pay, right? And so that this way you don't have to get the paper statements in the mail, and then you got to write the check, and then you got to do it. And the only thing that I caution you about auto pay is that you want to make sure that the bill is correct, okay? Because so often you maybe don't check things and you find out that the costs have gone up, especially when it comes to streaming. I don't know if you've looked at your streaming costs lately, but I did the other day, and I was spending, past tense, I was spending about $150 a month on streaming. And I'm like, dude, Barry, where are you signing up? And why are you signing up for this? Do you know YouTube TV? Do you know how much that is? YouTube TV? Granted, you get a lot of things. You get the local channels, and you get just about every other cable channel. You get a DVR built in. But he signed up for that because he didn't get Fox News when we were traveling. No, didn't tell anybody about it. $75 a month. That was on top of the $150. So if you haven't looked at your streaming costs lately, you really need to do that. I digress. I really want to talk to you about writing checks, though, because now is truly the time to go paperless. Check fraud is so bad that it has doubled within the last year. So people might be writing fewer checks, but the amounts on those checks have actually increased. Get this. The current average check amount clocks in at over $2,600. Wow. So that's enough to make a criminal go through your mailbox, steal your mail or your identity. So they target envelopes that look like checks being mailed or bill payments. So now's the time to play it super safe. If you need to write a check, I want you to start using a security pen. It's also known as a check washing pen. It uses specially formulated ink that gets trapped in the paper, and that makes it difficult for criminals to wash or erase it. So a few more steps to take. Make sure that you monitor your accounts, be proactive of your checking account and banking number, and make sure that you also secure your mailbox. I'll tell you, it reminds me of last year I used my tax refund check to buy baby chickens. Yes, that's right. I got money for nothing and the chicks for free. Oh, that was a good one. All right, we're all sick of email. The rambling ones that you get from coworkers and clients, your boss, your neighbor, your cranky uncle. Get this, the folks at the messaging app Slack, they surveyed 8,000 small business workers. Turns out our old ways of sending emails are just plain time wasters. They're just a nightmare. So here are some tips. First, the magical number. This is what you need to know. 8 sentences or more, and 57% of people ignore parts of the email or they just skim it. That would be me. I'm right there. Instead, try this. Put all the most important info in the first line. Write it in bullet points to save time, and that's when you want to get people's attention. Now, if you need to write more than a few sentences, you need to have a conversation, right? Or maybe a text or just online chat. Oh, one more thing. Over 50% of people who use email say they've been called by the wrong name. I also admit I have done that to people. So embarrassing. So what do I do now? I just say, hey, hi, cheers. Hope you're doing well. So this way you don't make that mistake again. All right, coming up, we have some tips about your streaming device and how it's tracking you. And then later on, why you really need to talk to your kids about deep fakes now if you haven't done that already. And let's see, Harry in Cedar City, Utah. Hello there, Harry.
Well, I got a little bit of a problem. I am with a company that protects my computer as well as protects and offers me my passwords. Of late, I've had a problem trying to sign on to some of my apps. There's about 70 of them.
Ooh.
And so I contacted this particular company to describe the problem to them. I did that. A couple of times they even accessed my computer, and to no avail. In fact, the last couple of times, I think they even blocked me after cutting me off because I couldn't get back onto the company. 2 questions.
Yeah.
One is, as I said, I have about 70 different apps on my computer that I have used the password vault to, and that's a lot to sit down and copy each one of those passwords. I've asked them every time if I could get something where I could just download the passwords to print them out or whatever.
You should. You know what? You should be able to export them out.
I wish I could.
I'm not sure which program that you're using, but we can certainly find the steps for you on how to do that.
Okay.
This becomes a little bit of an issue in that you described. Because, we use a password manager, and then if we're not happy with that password manager, well, how do we get away from that password manager?
Bingo.
Right? Okay. So you do have to have a list of all the accounts, and we're going to give you, Harry, a membership to the Commando community. So that this way we can offer you step-by-step help that way and give you the links that you need in order to do that. And so when we hang up, Amber's going to pick you up. We're going to get your information how to do that. And that's where there's a Q&A forum there. Then that's where our IT geniuses hang out. My IT genius, John, hangs out there, Harry, just to let you know. Okay. This is the man in my life that knows every single one of my passwords. Okay. He knows my home security system. He fixes my laptops, my desktops, my iPads. He sets up my phone. You get my gist, right? Okay.
I do.
Okay. He's amazing. Truly, truly amazing. So we start by getting an inventory of all your accounts, and then you have to pick a new password manager if you want one. Then you set it up, and you're going to export your passwords. Normally, you can export all of your passwords in what's called a CSV file, and that is a Microsoft Excel file or maybe other format. But a new password manager should be able to just suck that CSV file right up. And then what you want to do is update your passwords, right? Because you want to make sure that nobody has a copy of your old passwords. And I know it's a pain in the neck, but you just kind of have to do that. Some of these password managers will actually kind of walk you through all of that process. But it is always a consideration. You put your eggs all in one basket. Suddenly you don't like that basket anymore. So now I got to get them all out and I got to put them someplace new. So this requires just a little bit of hand-holding, and that's where we like to send folks to the Commando community, which if you haven't checked it out, I'm telling you, that Q&A board is the best. It is. Anytime you have any tech questions that you need the step-by-steps for, we got your butt totally covered. There's a 30-day free trial, as well as after that, it's just a few bucks a month. It's less than $5 a month. And not only do you get to use the forum, and we help you out there, but also you get to watch us do the show and take the calls and all kinds of good stuff like that. Again, that's the Commando community. In case you want to check it out yourself, go to commando.com. Support what we do, support our newsletters, everything. Truly appreciate that. Hit the button that says Commando community. And Harry, for you, hang on the line. We're going to be happy to set you up, but we just got to get some information from you. And then we'll be happy to kind of point you in a direction that way. And again, thank you for your call. All right. Have you ever wondered how all the advertisements you see when you're watching a show, they just seem to know certain things about you? Maybe the political party you support, the food that you're buying your dog, or the sneakers that you're wearing that very moment. The answer, yes, you're being tracked. The Amazon Fire TV Stick, Roku, and Rest are great options, truly, when you've cut the cable. And they're cheap, too. The trade-off? Well, let me tell you something. These streaming companies track what you watch, for how long, and what you look up. And then they sell all the data to who knows who. So here's what you can do. Nosy around in your device's privacy settings. The option that lets the streaming company track you may be called a couple of things. Maybe app usage data, limit ad tracking, or maybe simply tracking data. Now, other times, companies, they come up with these clever names. It's called interactive advertising. And you're like, interactive advertising. Why would I turn that off? That sounds like something so futuristic that I would love. Yeah, turn it off. So your television is doing the same thing. You can dig in your settings to turn off your TV from tracking you too. And if you need the steps for that, we've got a couple of posts over at commando.com that will walk you through whatever brand TV that you have, how you can turn off your television's tracking. Because let me tell you something. You may have heard me say this before, but Vizio TVs, they only make a quarter of their revenues off of the TVs themselves. Everything else is from the data that they're collecting and they're selling. Whew, I'll tell you, pretty nutso stuff. Just search for commando.com and say, turn off my TV tracking, and I bet you a couple of posts are going to pop right up for you. And let's see who's up next. Bill in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi there, Bill.
Well, I have a bit of a conundrum. My wife has beat up her old Apple phone. And before I dive into all the new ones that are out, I got to make sure I get this right.
You're funny.
Happy wife, happy life,
Exactly. So which one does she have now?
I don't know. It's older than rocks. That's all I can tell you. But it does work. She just got her Series 9 GPS cellular watch. So we use, if that makes a difference, we have that on our phones too. All
right, that's awesome. Is she loving the watch?
Oh yeah, it's at least her second one.
Nice. All right, good. All right, so here's the deal. You said the magical phrase, okay? Happy wife, happy life, right? And so, is she an avid photographer?
No, but I think she's going to go more that direction.
Okay. Okay, so here's the deal. Anytime you're talking about photography, that's when you always want to look at the latest iPhone, because as the generations get better, right, all the capabilities gets better. And so right now, the top of the line is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Okay, that's the phone I have. It's a big phone, but it has a 48 megapixel main camera. It has 5 times telephoto zooms. It also has an ultra wide lens. And it's really just, when you see the photos that this phone can take, oh my gosh, Bill, it's astounding. I mean, and when you look at videos, it's almost as if you're looking at something that you would have expected to come out of Hollywood. Okay. And then you have all these different modes. You have action modes and macro modes and cinematic modes, especially for video. So if she's taking any videos, that's what she wants to do. The front camera has autofocus. And so this way, if she's taking a selfie or she's having a video call, it's going to look great. It also does HDR. So again, this is like the top of the line. And it sounds like she keeps things for a long time, huh?
Yes, we do.
So you could get the iPhone 14 Pro Max, if, there's a budgetary issue. I wouldn't go anything lower than a 14 at this point.
Okay. Now, another question very quickly is that she does like whatever the model is to be the larger one because even when she uses personal computers and stuff.
So the Pro Max is the bigger one.
Okay.
Because it goes Pro, it goes Pro Max, and then they have SE is the little tiny one. But it sounds like you're going to look at the 14 Pro Max, or you're going to look at the 15 Pro Max.
What is the difference between the 14 and 15?
Probably about $300 or $400. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And also 1 year. The Pro Max does have a better image quality, and it does have better in low light performance. But when we start looking at, is it this much different? Not really. As a matter of fact, when I gave my husband my 14 Pro Max and I got the 15 Pro Max, I sat there and I thought to myself, I just wasted like $1,500. It's just like, and he was really thrilled because he came off the iPhone SE. And so, if you can't afford the 15, I would just go ahead and go with the 14 because they are essentially the same. Yeah, I know the 14 Pro Max has the A15 Bionic chip and the 15 Pro Max has the A16 Bionic chip. But, really, if you're just going to be sitting there taking some pictures, I would stick with the 14 or the 15. Don't go to 13 because you guys keep things a long time. Bill, thank you for your call today. Now, that's a smart man right there. Rob in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello there, Rob.
Hey, first of all, I want to say I've listened to you when I can for probably decades. I don't know how long you've been on the air, as long as I can remember, and I really appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, well, I've gotten to know some friends on some apps in other countries, and we don't have enough of a common language. But the apps we use have text translation during a video call. Mm-hmm. And we kind of like to get away from that because they're kind of pay per minute and like to get to something where we don't quite have, we want to save money. And I'm wondering if there's a video call app that has at least text translation available.
Well, probably the best text translator out there in the entire universe is Google Translate.
Yep.
And, you can use that with Google Meet for your video calls. It is free. And basically, you're going to get the Google Translate app, iOS, Android, whichever team that you're on. Select the language. And then there's a camera icon. And that's, of course, for if something like you're going to use a picture for, which is not in your case, but just don't want to pass that along. But then there's also a button that says transcribe, and that's for real-time spoken word translation. So you can use the camera, as I mentioned, to capture the text on the screen, but you're going to use transcribe because that's going to provide some real-time translation of the conversation. It's a really great thing that you're doing, and it's kind of so futuristic, Star Trek, when you start thinking about it, that we could be having a conversation, and then right next to it, in the window shows the full conversation going back and forth in English and whatever language, really any language in the world that you want to think about is available through Google Translate. And I know there are other translation programs, but Google Translate, it does work side by side Google Meet. So if you're going to be doing video calls, just seems like a natural match for that. And Rob, thank you for your call today. Speaking of translations, let me tell you this. Sugar is the only word in the English language where the SU makes a sh sound. Sugar. At least I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, you might have to think about that one. Hopefully you had your coffee. All right, this happened in Columbus, Ohio. Oh, you're not going to believe this story. When Billy Blocka found out that his 11-year-old daughter was sending inappropriate images and messages to a man online, he called the police. So when the officers showed up at the door at midnight, Billy thought he was going to be getting help and guidance from the cops, but instead, they said that his daughter could probably get charged with child pornography. He's like, what? How? She's 11 years old. The cops said, doesn't matter. She's creating child porn, and they just left. So think about this. With AI, it's becoming easier to create deepfakes. From one simple social media picture, the kids' images can be used to create child pornography and abuse materials. So Now is the time for all of us to rethink what we post about our kids online, especially any pictures. And know what your kids do online. And you need to be the parent because no one else will. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget, get my newsletter. You can sign up at getkim.com.